Hi there. It's August 2nd and time for Proverbs 2. All right, we're on our 24th time through Proverbs. All right, the final time. Okay, and we know the first 9 chapters are training, right? Training for wisdom, right? And today it's the value of wisdom, right? Yesterday it was listen, okay? And we learned that fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, right? So, here we go. My son, if you receive my words and treasure up my commandments within you, making your ear attentive to wisdom and inclining your heart to understanding, yes, if you call out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek it like silver and search for it as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. Right? Now, he says this beginning in at least 6 or 7 chapters, right? Listen, listen, listen. Okay. My son, pay attention. Okay. This is wisdom. If you seek it like silver and search for it as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord. You get wisdom from the Bible, okay? You get it from the Bible, reading the Bible, studying the Bible, right? Praying over the Bible, right? There is hidden treasure in the Bible, okay? And you will understand. How else are you going to, unless you read the Bible, how else are you going to understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God, okay? For the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. Right? He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity, guarding the paths of justice and watching over the way of his saints. Yeah? Then you will understand righteous and justice, equity. I'm going to highlight all that just for kicks. I like this. All the thing God does, right? 9, then you will understand righteousness and justice and equity in every good path, for wisdom will come into your heart. Remember we said wisdom was Jesus was wisdom? Jesus was the Word, right? Wisdom will come into your heart. And knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Right? Discretion will watch over you. Understanding will guard you, delivering you from the way of evil, from men of perverted speech. Right? Comma. Right? This is a semicolon there, right? Wisdom will come into your heart, right? Jesus. Knowledge will be pleasant to your soul, right? Discretion will watch over you. Understanding will guard you, delivering you from the way of evil, from men of perverted speech, who forsake the paths of uprightness to walk in ways of darkness, who rejoice in doing evil and delight in the perverseness of evil, men whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways. Okay, that's all one statement. Right? 16, so you will be delivered from the forbidden woman, from the adulteress with her smooth words, who forsakes the companion of her youth, and forgets the covenant of her God, for her house sinks down to death, and her paths to the departed. None who go to her come back, nor do they regain the paths of life. Wow. You like that? Isn't that something? Right? Adultery? If you were tempted by an adulteress, right? Her house sinks down to death, her paths are and her paths to the departed, right? The departed stairs, hell, Rephaim. Excuse me. Does it say that over here? There. I got lost here. For her house sinks down to death, and her paths to the departed. None who go to her come back, nor do they regain the paths of life. None who go to her come back. Now we know God can do anything, right? But this is a warning, right? Forbidden woman, the adulteress with her smooth words. None who go to her come back, nor do they regain the paths of life. That's a huge statement, right? It can ruin you forever. Okay, 20. So you will walk in the way of the good and keep to the paths of the righteous. For the upright will inhabit the land, and those with integrity will remain in it, right? Steadfastness, right? But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be rooted out of it. Okay? At some point, right? At some point. So there you go. That's Proverbs 2. A little training there, right? He says in the beginning of a lot of these early chapters, my son, listen to these words, right? And this is about reading the Bible, right? That's where wisdom is found, okay? If you seek it like silver, and search for it as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. It's in the Bible, okay? Hidden treasures, knowledge of God, right? 6-8 is highlighted. For the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity, guarding the paths of justice and watching over the way of his saints. Okay? God does all these things for us, the ones seeking knowledge. Okay? Seeking wisdom. Right? Then you will understand righteousness and justice and equity and every good path. For wisdom will come into your heart, right? Wisdom, Jesus is wisdom. Okay? Let's do a little side trip. I'm going to look something up on another screen over here. Okay. Hey, 1 Corinthians 1:24. Verse 24. All right? And we will jump over here and we will. All right? Where's the one who is wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the debater of this age? Has God not made foolish the wisdom of the world? Right? He's talking about Jesus. For since in the wisdom of God, the world did not know God through wisdom, it pleased God through the folly of what we preach to save those who believe. For Jews demand signs and Greeks seek wisdom. But we preach Christ crucified, a stumbling block to Jews and a folly to Gentiles. But to those who are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ the power of God and the wisdom of God. Okay, Christ, the power of God and the wisdom of God. Right. For the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakest of God is stronger than men. Okay, I said that yesterday. Okay, that's it, great. All right. Right. Okay. Let's just finish this. For consider your calling, brothers, but not many of you were wise according to worldly standards. Not many were powerful. Not many were of noble birth. But God, who chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise, God chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong. God chose what is low and despised in the world, even the things that are not, to bring nothing the things that are, so that no human being might boast in the presence of God. And because of him, what's this note? From him, you are in Christ Jesus, who became to us wisdom from God. Okay. Righteousness and sanctification and redemption, so that it is written, let no one boast in the Lord, right? Jesus is wisdom. Okay. There it is. 5 different plots. Right. wisdom will come into your heart. Make more sense now? Okay. Stay away from forbidden married people. Okay, married people shouldn't be doing things with other married people, right? None who go there will come back, nor do they regain the paths of life. That's tough. Okay. The upright will inhabit the land, and those with integrity will remain in it. So there you go. That's chapter 2. A nice little side note about wisdom, okay? All this wisdom is Jesus, okay? Jesus became all these things, right? For us. There's a key verse, okay? You can do that. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 1, down in verse, starts at like 18, okay? Christ, the wisdom and power of God, okay? All right. And 2018 through the rest of the chapter, if you want to know what you're reading in Proverbs, right there. Wisdom. Jesus was wisdom, right? Christ is the power and the wisdom of God, right? Good stuff, huh? So, there you go. Turn that off. Okay. Later on, we're in the Romans. I think we're in Romans 5 today. 4 or 5, right? And Paul's really giving the Romans a hard time. Never been there, but he's giving them a hard time. And it is so close to the government and what's going on in the Americas now, you can't help but think, you know what, maybe this was written to us too. So stay tuned for that. Give us a like if you think about it. And tomorrow we'll continue. See you then.